Here we are once again, Triple R Studios, Ray's Record Room, and the legend, the living legend, is right next to me. Sugar Ray, how are you, Shugs?
Oh, mate, how good is this? Hey, I can't wait for this podcast. I've been waiting all day for this because I've been cleaning up everything, trying to make everything nice for our
Because he
guests.
just wants to hear me talk and tell another story, don't you?
I love you, babe.
I know you do.
I love you.
Thanks.
Down the far end, Mike Big Roy Whitney, as always. How are you, Big Roy?
Hey, Dorsey, lovely to see you, Shugsy.
Oh, bud.
I'm Andrew Dorsey Dawson.
We're doing
and-
it again.
And as I do, once again, down to you, Big Roy, for the intro for this very, very super special guest.
Very, very special.
What's his name again?
And, well, Shugs,
Yeah.
Sugar Ray is very excited
I am.
because we've got a very special guest. Very special guest. Played 14 tests for Australia, 29 one-dayers. I played with this gentleman for New South Wales in my first 3 seasons, so he was a mentor for me with some of the older bowlers that were around. I learn a lot off him.
Get the killer.
I
instinct
learn a
out.
lot off him as well. I'd have to say one of the greats of New South Wales, and as a young man teamed up playing club cricket with one of the and this man was not slow either, but with one of the fastest of all time. We're really keen to hear about that. Would you please welcome to the How's That the podcast, Len Pascoe?
That is the best and most recent welcome I've ever had. And all I've got to say is, come on, Aussie. Pasco's making divots in the green.
There you go. We only talked about that before you arrived. And what Len's referring to is World Series cricket. And Alan Johnson, Mo and Joe wrote, come on, Aussie, come on. And your bloody name is in the lyrics, Len.
You know, Mike, every time I hear that song, I get tears in my eyes.
Oh, yeah.
I never got a cent for it. That wasn't asked.
No, he just wrote you in. Well, what a legendary song. Look, we're going to talk about World Series and all that sort of stuff, but I'd like to go back right to the start because although you played all your cricket for New South Wales, you were born in Western Australia, right?
Bridgetown.
Wow.
Bridgetown, WA, and my dad used to cart the big Jarrah timber. And years later, I learnt that Dennis Lillee's father used to chop the big Jarrah timber down. And we'd had a little bit of a chat with his dad all those years ago. And my cousins actually played over in Western Australia in cricket because, where I learnt to play cricket was on the farm. The first cricket ball was a rock.
You were growing up on a farm.
On a farm.
Yeah.
With a
On a
cricket
farm.
pitch and everything.
No, just dirt.
Just dirt. Straight
sorry.
dirt.
Just dirt. And my mother got a rock and she wrapped a rag around the rock and then sewed it up. And that was our ball. And when we played football, we used the bladder of a pig. You wait until the pig got slaughtered and you sort of blow it up and leave it in the sun for a while and it got hard.
It's like being in India, isn't it?
And
It's unbelievable.
I didn't
crazy
even know
story.
what I was doing. I was just doing what my cousins were doing. So I grew up from a very early age playing cricket, but I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah, well,
I still didn't know what I was doing later.
but your mum and dad were Macedonian, right?
My father was of Scottish and Macedonian background, and my mother was of Vlasi. That's the oldest living tribe of Europe, and they lived high up in the Alps behind a national park there now called Ohrid. And this village, you've got to remember, in those days, somebody was sort of attacking somebody.
Yep.
And they were way, way up in the mountains. And my mother and father, after the war, because my father served in the Australian Forces, and after the war, he went back to marry a lady. I mean, he had to marry somebody because in Bridgetown, Western Australia, on the farm,
Yeah, not many girls
Not
running
many-
around
not
there.
many girls
No
there.
Yeah,
available.
but there's heaps of cows, eh?
I'm glad it wasn't sheep.
No, that's
New
for
Zealand.
our Kiwi mates. That's right.
So they met over a bridge over a river, and one thing led to another. And I remember growing up in Bridgetown. The farm was only 800 acres, but there was dairy, there was
How many were in
apples.
Bridgetown?
Oh, back then there was probably about 10 of us.
But was school there? You went to school?
I went to school there, but
There was 5 of them.
I wanted to just go back. I mean, I want to ask you about your mum and dad.
Yeah.
Because they ain't got no cricketing background, right?
no, But he had my dad. He worked for Line Tile Brick Company, and there was Bill O'Reilly. He was the director there, and he used to chat with me and give me advice. And before that,
So your dad carted the Jarrah,
yeah,
and worked in the brick factory.
yeah. Later, when we come to New South Wales, we come across the Nullarbor plain when I was about 6 years of age. Had my birthday on the Nullarbor at 6, and we stayed at Port Kembla.
Why did they want to come to Sydney? For work?
There was no income on a farm. There was also
was a drought on too,
his
wasn't
uncle, and he had 6 kids.
And floods.
And really,
Locust plague.
it was just hard work. There was no money.
No money in cotton.
No. There's
So did your mum and dad sort of go, well, okay, we're loading the family up, we're going to Sydney?
Yep.
Or Port Kembla first, Wollongong way.
Oh, my father, he built 2 houses in Bridgetown, sold one, bought a Plymouth, DeSoto, a DeSoto.
Oh, beautiful.
A black DeSoto.
What, and drove over?
It drove over the Nullarbor plain. There wasn't any dirt or anything. I
In
remember.
1950, what was it?
Oh, I would 1956.
Dirt
And then we went all to all the really good places.
That's
Port
huge.
Kembla, right up next to the chimneys.
Yeah.
Then we went to Crystal Street, Petersham.
Wow. There
And
wasn't
I-
much there either, was there?
Oh, and Petersham, it was like coming from a farm, and now I got nothing but concrete. And I'd go down to Petersham Oval.
It's still the same.
No, I'd go down there, and I always remember being near the fence and watching this bloke running after the ball, and he had the brightest red face I've ever seen on a hot day.
Fatty Vorton.
And it was, and there was a fella
Cricketer.
Oh,
There's a fella called Blackman. Years later, I'm playing for Bankstown, and I'm playing on the very ground. I was a kid, only about 11, 12, watching the guy running. And this Blackman fella.
John Blackman?
Yeah, he's
Cole
opening-
Blackman.
Cole Blackman. And he put me
That's
onto
his
a roof
cousin.
across the road. And I always remembered that hit. I was, you know, but
Is that when
Yeah.
when you arrived in Petersham? Was that the sort of the catalyst to start playing more like school cricket? Were you playing
No.
cricket? Were you playing soccer and footy and that?
I would do anything. I was climbing up trees. I was in the park.
to get out of the house.
All that sort of stuff.
Have you got brothers and sisters, Len? I can't remember you
Yeah,
talking to.
I got a brother.
And was he a sporty dude as well?
My brother, yeah, he was sporty, but he was more into music.
Right.
And actually, his kids are amazing musicians. He's Willie, his son, he plays drums for Troy Casadale when his normal drummer's not available. But let me tell you, Troy's daughter, she's going to be an absolute superstar. And
How old she?
oh,
About.
look, all I know is when I see him, you know, I know he's working with her. Willie's working with her. But
Could she do anything with the Oz Icons, do you think?
I just have to have a chat with him.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, she is exceptional. And Rodney, the eldest boy, he plays guitar, he plays lead, plays rhythm, plays drums. He's just super talented. Now, in my case, I've got the brains, but something happened and never went to my fingers. It's like golf.
You love
with
it.
the ball.
You
With the
love
ball.
music.
He was good with the ball, Dawsy. Don't worry about it.
I can make the ball sing, but I
Look at
couldn't
his
sing.
fingers. Look at his fingers.
How did you come to be in Bankstown then from Petersham? What was the...
Here we go. Dorsey
that's
can't wait
where
to
he
find
met
out.
Tomo.
I'm from Bankstown, so I need to hear this.
We want to hear about Tomo.
He's been hanging out for this. Really, it's very
Yeah,
important to
bloody
him.
Bankstown, boys.
Well, he went to, it was 307 Stacey Street, Bankstown.
Oh, yes.
On the corner of Staven Road and Stacey Street. And a mate of mine named David Welsh, who's 74 years of age, and he's still umpiring, he's still playing cricket, amazing young man. And he's got Parkinson's, and he just will not let up.
He mustn't have
just
been a
loves
fast
it.
bowler, Len, if he's still playing now.
Well, look, put it this way. We play in the backyard, hose everything down, mow it, you know, and hose it down, and use a ball with no fur on it,
Yeah, just-
varnish it, and
Skids.
I ate him in the balls one day, and
Go
his mother
champion.
stopped playing. You know, he said, "You're not playing with him anymore." So, I could tell you a mile of stories of us kids.
And this is
growing
at
up.
Stacey Street.
This is in Stacey Street, And that's how we met. I was on one side and he was on the other of Stacey Street, and we're throwing tennis balls to each other.
Who, Tomo?
No, with my mate
Well,
Dave.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Welshie.
Yeah.
Well, David Welsh.
Yeah.
We're throwing tennis balls to each other. And then we started doing Olympics, and then we started playing cricket. And every afternoon we'd be down the side passage playing cricket, playing soccer. And he
Because
was...
you wanted to hit him in the testicles, eh?
No, that just happened.
Oh, sorry.
So then you went to
On purpose.
North Bankstown Primary School. Is that where you went to school from there?
Yes, I went to North Bankstown Public School, and I was made a captain of the milk squad.
The milk squad?
Yeah, my job was to get rid of the milk. And but this is where the entrepreneurial ship started to come through. When they put me in charge of the milk squad, I got the other kids to go look for bottles. You remember you got threepence back?
Yep.
On the bottle?
Yep.
So I get the threepence, and then I'd go to the shop, and they had the flavoured straws. So I'd buy all the flavoured straws, and then I'd sell the milk to the kids.
This guy.
I'd sell it. And I was making a killing.
The Gary Jack of...
At what age was this, Len? How old were you?
11. Now it gets better. It gets better. I thought I cut out the middleman.
What, the school?
Well, I have at 11.
School.
At 11. Why have the strawberry straws? I went home and I experimented with flavouring.
At 11.
Pineapple flavouring in milk doesn't curdle. Lime doesn't curdle. But orange does. So I'd take along my little bottles of lime and pineapple, and I'd sell it to the kids until the teachers found out what I was
wanted
up to.
cut, didn't they? They wanted some of it, didn't they?
But it still gets better. When they found out my scam, they said, "You're not doing that anymore." So I still had to get rid of the milk that nobody was drinking. So I got my lackeys to spill the milk under this weatherboard shed.
Did you pay the ladies?
No.
Well done. Yeah, go on.
Strong arms.
Just friends.
Come in the mail. And anyway,
Applause.
during the winter, everything was fine. But during the summer, they were making cheese underneath.
The old smegma, eh?
And then I was
that
introduced.
smegma? Yeah, I thought that's
Then
what
I
they
was
said.
introduced in money and sport.
It's a great word.
Money and sport. And I got to thank that rugby league player, Dave Barsley.
Yeah, I remember Dave Barsley.
Dave Barsley. And he would come out to the school and
Who did he play for, the Bulldogs?
Yeah,
or-
because I had his
West.
football card.
West.
Yeah, West. I had his
West,
I've got his football card.
yeah. So
Scanlon's.
So if you
With bubblegum.
if you didn't drop the ball,
You've got
you're the last
everybody's
one standing. You won. You've got threepence, you've got fivepence, and so on. I used to go home with a shilling, 2 shillings. I thought this is bloody good. Until one day, we're playing out at the showground, and I'm now the goal kicker because I'm the star because I've got all the cash. And there's Dave Barsley right next to the goalpost. Now,
This is the best, mate.
if I kick the ball over the post, we win by 1 point. If I don't kick it over the post, we lose the game by 1. I'm looking at Dave Barsley, I'm looking at my team. I put the ball on the mound. I went back, kicked the mound, the ball fell off, and Dave Barsley pissed himself laughing. And we lost. And I thought, that's it. That's the end of my footy career.
I thought you did it on purpose.
Match fixing or something.
I thought you were going to get some money if you didn't kick it.
You kicked the pile of dirt instead.
There wasn't a Pakistani in sight.
So the football career is over.
Just one quick question. Did you know it was a scam? You said I was scammed. Did you know that? Surely you didn't know you were scamming anyone at 11. Did you?
At school with the milk?
Yeah.
No, I was just an entrepreneur.
Yeah. So I just...
No, that's a fascinating
Probably
story.
That is brilliant.
Now,
Ray,
let's get this.
scam would not have been a word when Len was 11.
It's only a scam if you're not involved.
That's
in
it.
fact, I used to walk
That's
past
it. Dorsey.
Chris.
Yeah.
There was Anderson who played for Souths. I used to walk past his place on my way up to school. Now, if I didn't find any bottles and I didn't make my own money, I had no money to play cricket.
Right.
And later on, my mother, for me to get creams, they were from the disposal store, overalls. So she cut the overalls down to look like jeans. My shirt was the same shirt that I wore at school. It ponged a little bit. But,
yeah.
And the shoes that I wore, we were talking about boots earlier, the shoes that I wore had a thin layer of plastic, 4 studs at the front, 2 at the back. And the only way that I had money was to find bottles and to buy my equipment. And then I'd walk about 5 mile back then. And along the way, if I was lucky, I'd get enough to get a choo-choo bar and a bottle of Tarrax.
Choo-choo bar.
Yeah.
And a bottle of tab.
You know what I used to do?
And that's what I used to live on.
Did you say tab?
No, Tarrax.
Tarrax. Bottle of Tarrax.
That sounds like really hard work, mate. I used to
And
just
slate
go.
pencil.
I used to go and sneak into my mother's purse and steal the money. What you were doing, it was hard
It was
work,
miles
mate.
ahead.
Well, the point of that, my mother didn't have any.
Sorry, take that back.
So your rugby league career is over.
Yep.
Cricket, North Bankstown. This is my junior cricket club, so this is we want to bring this up. So that's who you, and I believe about 10 years of age, you were playing against Tomo. He was playing for Condell Park, and you were playing for North Bankstown. Is that
Yeah.
right? At Graf Park, because I used to
There
play
were
there all
two
the
things.
time.
There was 2 things that happened. First
You're
of all,
definitely a Bankstown boy. Listen, it's just rolling off,
He's
Dawsey.
loving this, isn't
It's
he?
rolling off your tongue.
Three Swallows Hotel, then we've got some stories there.
that's another story.
Yeah, I want to know why it was called
Now-
that.
The 3 Swallows.
Now you got. I'm at North Bankstown Public School, and I don't know if I've got any ability or anything. I just play cricket like everyone else. We line up sausage style, one after the other. And we got these corkers in our hand. There's the corkers. You get a cherry if you.
Yep.
They're made out of cork. And Miss Carroll was the teacher, and I hit her right in the ankles, and she went down, and I saw this pair of knickers. And I said, hallelujah.
Rejoicing.
I saw those same knickers on the Poms, and quite a few other batsmen once you started the chin music. So I got to thank Miss Carroll for giving
set
me
the
the
tone.
incentive.
Yeah.
Then what happened was I get picked in the team because of I knocked Miss Carroll off on a butt. So we go out to Graf Park, and there's Gosling Park. It was Gosling Park.
Greenacre.
Greenacre, Gosling Park.
Dawsey.
Condell Park versus North Bankstown. And so I'm bowling out to 4 or 5 weeks, 6 weeks. Oh, I don't know. Who cares?
Just another day at the
It
office.
was just another day at the office. Just get them. And we thought, we're going to win this one. And there's this bloody spiky-haired, crew-cut, bandy little legs and with his whopping big bloody pants with a funny bowling action.
There's always one in there.
Yeah. And then
Get
Tomo
him,
got
Len.
6 or
Get
7.
him.
That was Tomo.
Was it?
That was Tomo, yeah.
Did you face him on that day? Do you remember when you were batting?
No, but I tell you what, just on Tomo at school days, there's a lot of stories there, but I'll tell you this one, it's a cricket one. The day he got 9 for 3 against Birrong. We were playing for Bankstown first grade at the time, and we were playing Birrong High, and he got 9 for 3.
So you're at school, but you're playing first grade already.
Yeah. I was
Just punch bowl boys, right?
I was just turned 16. He was about the same. So
And
we
you're
were
in first grade already?
Yeah.
At Bankstown?
Yeah.
And playing for high school as well?
Yeah. So.
Oh, not pretty, Ray. I'm just thinking of the
I'm
high
just
school
thinking
games.
of it.
No, you've finished a couple of careers there, Len, I'm sure.
So you're playing Birrong.
Yeah.
We're playing Birrong, and Tomo's got 9 for 3.
Yeah, no
And
one's turned
I have bowled so wide of the off stump, down the leg side, the stupid batsman was so scared he was running towards square leg, bounced off his pads as he was running, and bowled him out. So Tomo never got the 10. Now, Tomo,
He would have had 10 for 3.
10 for 3, he would have, but he only ended up with
9 for 3. Yeah.
Serves
But
him right.
the next match,
Lenny stole the other weekend.
we played against Sydney Tech. Now, I've never seen, this is the only other, I've only seen it twice. Beetle Watson did a hamstring in Hobart, picking up the ball to start the play. He had been at the casino the night before.
Yeah, I heard about
And
that.
Tomo has picked up the ball. Oh, I've done my hammy. and he bowled me from one end against Sydney Tech until I got all 10.
Oh,
And
wow.
I got all 10, and he, let that be a lesson to you. All right.
Don't stuff around with me, mate.
Yeah, mate, and bowl them all out, you prick.
Just back to the early days. Obviously, when did you know that you actually, I'm pretty good at this and I think I can go, it was when you went to Punchbowl Boys. That's when you met Tomo as well, wasn't it? Because he was at high school with you. So,
He was playing house cricket.
Yeah. So when did you realise I'm actually pretty good at this and I might go?
When he was
all right?
11?
No, when he was in first grade at 16. Fuck, I'm going all right. I'm in first grade at 16. Mate, that must have been amazing playing
Yeah, good
first
on
grade
you,
at that age.
Really?
It was against St George. He took 6 for, but that was okay.
Well,
they had about half the Australian.
This is what I was just about to
They had a
say.
good side.
Did they? St. George?
This is what I was about to say. When I got in first grade in 79, that's a long time after Len, first grade sides had current Test players, ex-Test players, current Shield players, ex-Sheffield Shield players. And if you weren't in that category and you were playing in a side with those guys, you're a pretty fucking good player. And nobody had a day off and everybody played. So to play first grade at 16 or 17 in any era is a huge accomplishment.
incredible.
And you're playing against seasoned fucking men that are tough. Mate, first grade cricket, when I played first grade my whole career, it was a tough competition, wasn't it, Len?
I was picked to go over to the Jubilee Test in 77, and the last game we played was against St George, and Brian Booth scored 114 against me. And when I say against us, it was us.
Yeah, sure.
And I tried everything to get him out, but I was in awe of the bloke. When you see a master,
Yeah.
like a Viv Richards,
Yeah.
like a Barry Richards,
Yeah.
even a Bradman. Can you believe I bowled a ball to
No.
Bradman at Bradman to start Bradman Oval? To open Bradman Oval.
Wow.
So we got this mock thing set up, and I'm there, and I bowled the ball to watch the way that Bradman held the bat. It was just like another finger.
Yeah.
The only other person I've seen like that is Barry Richards.
Yeah,
for South
what a
Africa.
player.
I've seen John Holmes hold it like that also.
It's a bit like a guitar.
Yeah.
But
The porn star, John Holmes.
Yeah, he used to
Johnny,
hold it like that.
Yeah, he did. He had another hand. It was that big. He had 3 hands.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're just digressing.
Yeah.
So yes, the progression then from first grade into getting selected for New South Wales. Like how did that?
How long
happen?
did that take?
look, I remember they asked me to play Colts, and Gary Gilmore, he pulled out. And, I'd known Gary from CHS, and he was a fabulous fella. And anyway, he pulled out, and they sort of booked me in. So there was Dave Colley opening the bowling, and there was, I don't know, somebody else.
Played Test cricket, David Colley.
And I was first change.
The Fox.
And,
Fox Colley.
The
Great
Fox,
man, the Fox.
He was about
Foxtrot.
He was
Great man, the
ready,
Fox, Ray.
almost ready to play for New South Wales because Renneberg was just retiring.
Yeah.
And I'm just there. I thought, this.
Renneberg,
I'm
did he
wearing
play
my-
for Roosters?
I'm wearing my mustard
cousins.
3-piece suit because I thought that's what you wore when you went on tour. I still remember being in a nightclub with a 3-piece mustard suit.
Mustard.
I didn't know it was disco years ahead.
Let me just try and get that visual going in your
it's
head.
not good.
Sorry.
A mustard 3-piece suit, and he had really dark, black, thick hair too.
A long time ago.
So the mustard and the black, dark hair would have just looked.
Showman.
I was going to say awesome, but showman's probably the word.
Rockstar.
Showman.
So basically, Dave Colley went up there and did this, did that, and he bowled pretty good. The other guy bowled pretty good. I'm going first change. They had a fellow called Russell Surtees, someone like that.
Yeah, Russie Surtees.
I think
That's
he
right.
may have played in the game
right.
for some reason. I don't know. Maybe they played one or two older guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, what happened was I got a double hat trick on a no ball. I got a head, an arm, and a hand.
Sorry.
I went on first change. I went, and I got a wicket, no ball, a wicket, and that was my first encounter playing for New South Wales in Colts. And so they then decided that, hang on a minute, we're going to get him above Dave Colley.
So as you would expect to, the Colts side is the up-and-comers.
Yeah,
these are all the
ones.
young fellas that they're looking to probably try and bring on to play shield cricket. Yep.
So you know what I did?
No?
I packed up my bags, went surfing up at Crescent Head. They couldn't find me for 4 years.
Good surfing up Crescent Head,
Oh,
isn't it?
mate, back then,
no
you're a young
one
bloke.
there.
And you know what? It's the
Doesn't
best
No
thing.
one there back then.
Best
The
thing that
girls,
happened to me
bikinis
because it
and that.
taught me how to get on with people. When you're there with your mates and you're in a surfing environment and you haven't got much money and you know, if something in your behaviour doesn't gel with your mates, you get ostracised. You get
pulled up straight away.
straight up.
That's right.
So when I went into 25 years of age, I seen Tomo. He's making a bit of coin, and I'm thinking, okay, what do I want out of life? And he's a really you want to this one to take note of.
Sure.
What do I want out of life? And I said, okay, I want to marry. I want to get married. I want to have 2 kids. I don't want to have a mortgage. I want to be my own person. I want to do my own thing. I want the freedom, and I want a house that I can go to as a holiday house. Then I said, okay, how am I going to get this? As an accountant, I don't think so. As a musician, definitely not.
No.
And so I'm not a doctor, and I thought, well, cricket is my way of getting what I want. So when I went out there, the batsman was not someone who I hated. He was stopping me from everything that I wanted out of life. So therefore, my whole attitude changed. And the attitude changed so much that I took 65 wickets in grade cricket, took 52 wickets in New South Wales cricket. But it's never been an easy road.
This is in a season.
Yeah, can you
One season.
just compare?
One season.
What's the usual?
If you take 35 or 40
Yeah.
wickets in a grade season,
Yeah.
that's a very good year.
Yeah.
If you take 35, 40 wickets in a Shield season,
Yeah.
that's a very big year. We only played 10 games.
Oh,
So Len
jeez.
took plus 5 wickets a match every game he played.
Unreal, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I used to sit next to a guy called Gary Manuel who went on to play soccer, World Cup soccer. Now, this is the interesting thing here. We were talking about Tomo. When Melita Eagles turned up,
Yeah, remember them?
right,
Yeah.
in that same year, I was out at Fairfield to the 4R sports store. Raleigh Rassick and Ray Richards sports store.
Raleigh
Raleigh
Rassick.
Rassick,
Yeah, Ray
great name.
Richards. Wow.
And in comes Top Cat Tony Steele. He was from an Adidas.
Yep.
And we started a conversation. He's also playing for Balmain.
Yep.
And I said, Tomo's not real happy. He said, would he be prepared to go to Queensland? I said, I don't know, Top Cat. I'll ask him. So I went over there, asked Tomo. I said, mate, are you prepared to go to Queensland? And he said, yes. And the job was done between Errol LaFrance and with Errol LaFrance, Tomo, and then Greg Chappell got involved because
Greg had just moved up there, hadn't he,
he
from
moved up
South
there.
Australia.
and that was
That was your first managing gig, was it?
well, no, I just took me right back to the milk episode. I got no, but the thing there is the journey. But here's another interesting thing. Alan Border.
No.
So they got him as well.
I was so upset.
They
As a
stole-
young
they-
kid,
they
I
were-
was so upset when Tomo and he
This is
went
the
up.
cone of silence here, isn't it?
Yeah, cone of silence.
No one's gonna know.
No one's going to know.
No one's going to know.
Well, what happened
We haven't got many listeners.
after World Series cricket?
Might have after this.
Yeah.
After World Series cricket, what happened was
We got to talk
AB
about World Series, Len.
we're going to
That
get
changed.
there. This is important. This one.
Okay.
This one. I know I'm jumping a bit.
No,
here.
no.
The AB asked me in the bus. He said, I've received an offer to play for Queensland. What do you think I should do? I said, AB, on your worst day, you'll score 30. You're very fortunate. If you stay at New South Wales, you're going to be in the middle order. You're going to be fighting in there with Peter Clifford, Ian Davis, or you go up to Queensland, you're going to be a gun right under the nose of Greg Chappell. And the rest is now history.
Unbelievable.
That's that. Now, fast forward World Series cricket days, I pulled a hamstring just before the season started, playing against Mossman. No, playing against. No, he did that when that Roger Daldry used to do the training.
Good on you, man.
He's the guitarist, isn't he?
Singer.
So, Daldry, George Daldry.
George Daldry, yeah.
I call him Roger.
Roger, yeah.
The conditioner.
Mate, he was amazing, that George Daldry.
But it's funny he brings that up.
Yeah,
So-
Roger.
So the thing is, I'm playing against AB. AB's about 14 or 15, 20 or something like that, and I pulled the hamstring. Absolutely, and I'm coming in like a bloody duck.
Oh.
And he scores 50. And I thought, he looked pretty good. But he got most of those, me trying to bowl. So now, fast forward, and we're playing Northern Districts. Now, earlier that day, on my property, we were building a house in Oyster Bay, I trod on a piece of cedar.
Jeez.
And and I thought I'd go to the doctors and sort that out. The doctor said, no, it's out. So I go out and I'm bowling in Northern District. I'm coming in like Tiny Tim on the tulips. And I couldn't put...
Like Fred Flintstone doing the bowling.
And there's Mark Taylor. Whack, 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 whack. And I couldn't...
Twice.
I would have just knocked him out normally. Anyway, Neil Mark, this is how history happens. Neil Marks come up to me and he said, what do you think of that Mark Taylor? I said to him, I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about that bloke I like. I don't know what it is. I just like him. And anyway, I'm at Cronulla going for a jog, and up through the top of my foot come a splinter, half an inch splinter. I'd been playing one Shield game and the grade game, and I pushed the splinter up through my... But that was my brush with Mark Taylor. And there was one other thing about Mark Taylor. I was coach of New South Wales at the time, in a very difficult time, let me tell you.
I bet.
Oh,
I bet.
Yeah, he had to put up with me and Matthews.
Really? We'll get to that.
I knew all their secrets.
Yeah,
You look stressed. You look
we'll
stressed.
get to that because we want to get to the midnight oil thing
And
soon.
this business of the spinners, I got sick and tired of the bloody spinners. The spinners are the goggamobiles of the car industry.
Yeah.
The fast bowlers are the Ferraris.
Hard workers. Engine room. Just rough everybody up so they can come on and throw that shit up in the air.
Pretty
Is it turning? Is it turning?
You know what the batsmen are? Magners. Oil burning magnets. And the wicket
I used to have
keepers.
one.
Wicket keepers, they're the Taragos. They carry everybody.
Do you know what used to upset me with the spinners? We'd bowl our arse out, 20 overs, 25 overs on a rock hard thing like that. They'd bowl 15 or 20, and you'd go in the dressing room, they'd say, fuck, me shins are sore. And I'd go, what, from the 3 steps that you were running off?
Mate, I used to love
Like, you're fucking joking, aren't you? 3 steps, Len and I run 25 metres, and everything into it, and you guys are just going like that. Foof,
Well,
and your shins are sore. Fuck
but those 3 steps, that ball is still going, isn't it?
No.
No?
100 kilometres an hour. We're bowling at 140 minimum. He bowled at 150.
Hey, let me tell you something about the speed.
Because Kerry O'Keefe used to spin them.
Oh, no, he didn't.
Yeah, but he was a leg spinner. They're even weirder.
No, he never spun it.
No, he didn't. Kerry will tell you. I was a leg spinner, but I never spun it.
He was my favourite with the long blonde hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, well...
Fred Trueman.
I was... I love Freddie Trueman.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to be like him. Tell us why and about that.
Please. Yeah.
He was a coal miner. He was broad. He had personality.
Yeah.
And I just loved him. And would you believe I bowled the first ball under lights?
Yeah.
Commentated by Fred Trueman.
Wow.
It was a no ball and a wide.
Mate, that's huge.
But hang on, was that the first game, second year SCG under lights against the West Indies?
No, this was VFL Park, January 2028. And I bowled the first ball under lights with Freddie Trueman commentating. And my dad always said, whatever you do, son, through life, don't be mediocre.
Just give it to him, eh?
And I went in there with my dad's words in my ears.
And it was a no ball and a wide.
It was a no ball and a wide. so now I sit here before you, the man who bowled the first ball under lights, the man who scored the first run under lights, and the man who took the first wicket under lights, Barry Richards.
Was that the same game John Farnham?
Mate.
Hey.
Yes.
Legendary.
John Farnham sang happy birthday. Was that the game?
Yes. What it was Johnny Farnham coming into the dressing room. Rod Marsh was just in the moment of singing. He was singing under the wattle sprig and all that sort of stuff. And then he started Johnny Farnham coming in. He got Johnny Farnham to get up on the table and sing Sadie the Cleaning Lady.
And Rod Marsh was in the shower, and then he released raindrops have fallen on my head.
And then he burst into happy birthday.
Talking about you two, with Whit and you, Len, do you remember the first time that you met Whit or the first time you saw him, and what did you think when you first saw him?
Well, there was two things I remember about Whit in the early days. Well, actually, three things that I want to bring up.
Tell everyone. Yeah.
The first thing is we're playing in the rep charge matches in grade cricket. The competition's over, and Ian Davis and I we're playing World Series cricket, and I thought, I really don't need another game, but I'll play one anyway for the Bankstown guys.
Because it was money too, wasn't it?
No, there's no money in this.
Well, you shouldn't have played.
Not in grade cricket.
No,
sorry.
there wasn't even
nothing.
any bottles anywhere.
No, Ray, we had to pay to play grade cricket.
I didn't know that. Yeah, okay.
So I'm thinking,
Seriously,
these guys.
Don't look. Hang on.
Yeah.
Don't look at me like that, Ray. It's all right. Nobody knows that. But in our day, we had to pay to play grade cricket, and players today still pay club fees to play.
Yeah.
You have to pay but some guys get paid in club. In our day, no one got paid.
Okay. I did not know.
We had to pay.
No, I did not know that.
So it's a repechage game, and all I want to do is just get through it.
Sorry, Len, again.
It's like playing in a band, isn't it?
Mate, he just mentioned him and Ian Davis, who had both played Test cricket and World Series cricket.
I can't believe it.
Are playing in a repechage grade game.
For Bankstown.
For Bankstown.
So we
a
just want everyone
repechage
to know.
game.
And Smithy was in that game too.
Steve Smith?
Yes,
That's
Steve
the
Smith.
first Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Stephen Barry Smith, who went on the tour of South Africa and really didn't play for that, but what a player he was.
Now, this is why it's important that young players get a chance to meet the other guys, the ones that... I said to Ian Davis, what do you think of this Steve Smith? And he said, Steve Smith, he said, he's a really good player. I said, I think so too. And I went up to Smithy and I said, hey, you just scored 50 there and gave your wicket away. You've got the potential to score 200.
Oh, he was a great player.
And it was just,
great player.
just a little bit of advice there. But anyway, I go out there to bat, and Whit's there, and he's got the nostrils going. He looked like one of these bloody
Afro.
Like here I am, I'm the matador, and he's the bull, and he's there, he's snorting, and his legs are going, his horns are going, and all I want to do is.
You're so honest, man.
So he let this ball
I
go.
understand, but the big dog's out there.
Yeah.
I know.
He's like same class as DK, Lillee, Tomo. It's Len Pascoe.
Yep.
And I'm there, and like there's an unwritten law. You don't bowl bouncers to other fast bowlers who are quicker than you.
Yeah.
Love that.
Except for that day.
Except if you're going to be an idiot.
So this snorting bull has gone and put one right under my nose, which wasn't hard to do because I had a big nose. And I've gloved it, and it's gone over there, and I'm going, oh, yeah, right, okay.
I've seen all this shit before for the last 20 years.
I've just had Imran Khan and bloody Joel Garner and
Kapil Dev. And
everybody.
all
and
these
now
guys.
Mike Whitney's running in a grade game.
God, get away, you little mosquito. So anyway, the next season, Mike's in the team. Now, in those days, his nickname was Crazy. He'd come into the dressing room. Now, earlier that Mo put his bag into my spot next to Doug. Oh. The last time he saw that bag, he was heading towards the urinals.
Yeah, flush down the toilet. You did not, mate. You got seriously. If you were picked in the team, you waited to say, you sit there.
Yeah.
If you sat in Len's spot or Rick McCosker's or Doug Waller's spot?
No.
Fucking, these guys have been sitting there for fucking 15 years, mate.
Wow.
And if it was anybody like Henry or Lenny, they just grab the kit and tip it down the toilet.
So,
Gloves, box, bat. Fucking don't sit in my spot. Who the fuck do you think you are?
So Witz walked into the dressing room. This is his first moment. He's walked in the morning, and a couple of guys, "How you going, Craze?" I got up out of my chair. I said, "Don't you ever call him crazy again." And he never got called crazy again. That was Witt.
Who'd you say that to, Len?
The team.
Don't you ever call him crazy?
Don't you ever
just
call him crazy.
mad ass.
No.
Well, they stopped crazy and called me Craze. They dropped the Y
They
off.
couldn't use the
They
Y.
called me Widow for a while, and then Greg Matthews said one day,
No more?
"No, you're not Crazy or Wit. You're Big Roy," because that's my middle name, and that was my dad's name. So Roy hung around for a while.
How did you feel walking into the dressing room that day with all those legends in that room?
Yeah. Did you want to give it to him?
Look, I'd met them. I'd gone out to bowl in 1979, 80. I'd been invited out to bowl in the nets at the SCG. That alone was just, these are dudes that I'd watched play World Series cricket. And
You love them, don't you?
well, I'd watched them and read about them, and I had books on them. And then I got picked for the first game the following season, 80-81, which was at the Gabba. And Len played, Henry played, I played, Doug Walters played. Doug Walters was my hero. I'm sitting in the fucking dressing room at the Gabba. I can't look at him. I was just that overwhelmed. But in the opposition was Kepler Vessels, Greg Chappell, Alan Border, Tomo. I mean, all these really, really fucking good players. And this was the first game I played. How did I feel walking into that dressing room at the Gabba or the SCG for the first time? Surreal. Mate, these guys, I just wanted to just fucking play with them. And luckily for me, Len was in his veteran years then, but had so much knowledge. Never really, I just had to watch what he was doing. That was enough for me. And Henry was a couple of years older than me. So I had sort of Len there, Henry there, and then me. And Henry was progressing up the rungs as well.
Yeah.
So I had these sort of great mentors hanging. Alan Davidson also was the president of Cricket New South Wales, one of the great left arm seamers. Had these great mentors around. But I had to watch him all day, every day, run in and fucking run in. You're going to run in or you're going to run in. Well, he just ran in. So did Henry. With purpose, every delivery.
How was he on the sledge?
Yeah, had a couple of words to say every now and again.
I was very misunderstood. I never sledged anybody that didn't deserve it.
Which was number 1 to 11.
Let me just what Whit was talking about. I've got to pay tribute to Jack Gibson. Now, Jack Gibson, the rugby league coach, he come out to the SCG nets. He was a mate of Bobby Simpson at the time, and Simo was the coach. I watched out of the corner of my eye. Jack Gibson arrived with his own ball, and he bowled and he bowled and he bowled all afternoon without a break. Afterwards, we went and saw a presentation by him of a Vince Lombardi film, and that film was about second effort. I don't know if you can remember that.
Yeah.
And what Jack Gibson taught me, or showed to me, is that you win in millimetres. You in fractions of a second. It's when others give up. If you keep going and you believe in it, you will all. That's that second effort. And I used to have a mantra: the more tired I get, the more dangerous I am. And I got more wickets when they thought that I bowled my last ball and my backside's hanging out. I was relishing that, because that's when I start to pull out the jaffers.
I feel like pulling something out after that story.
I'm going to make a comment here. When you get really angry and pumped up too much, that was not good for me. I lost it then. I bowled badly. Len's probably one of the very few that I used to see really get and he bowled better. And if his ass was hanging out, that was true. He'd bowl the next over and go, fuck, he's just gone up 10 kilometres. He could always find something, and the great bowlers can. Always find that second effort. Never shot it in. This ain't going to say again. Henry as well, never shot it in. Yeah. So I was playing with these two blokes, and I was younger than them, and he was, Len was a legend then. Never shot, and your knees were struggling then at the back end of your career. Ran in with purpose every single delivery.
Did you ever face, Len, like you talk about that repechage game, or did you ever get one where you could bounce him back at all? Or?
I don't think so, Lenny. I don't think so.
I mean, look, I
learned, he stole that story, and that's true, and I do that to a lot of people, but I learned very quickly, fucking idiot. What's the point of bouncing Len? Why do that? Like, I've got to save that for the top end, mate. Get the top borders out and...
See,
you just learn. It's a learning process,
There's a theory. The game has a rhythm of play. You start to get in with the rhythm of the game. You open the bowling. The batsmen are there. They don't want to hit the ball. They just want to see the ball. So the idea is you've got to bowl right at that off stump and make them play.
Them hit. Yep.
Make them hit the splice of the bat. Make them think that they haven't got control of the bat. So therefore, you don't bowl any bounces in the first 4 or 5 overs. You just make them think they are.
That's right.
But all the time, you're just hammering away just at that off stump, the little off cut, a little bit there. But you're feeding the slips. I used to tell that to Wayne Holsworth. Look, you feed the slips. That's what they're there for. Yep. They're all there. You've got to feed them. Don't waste it by bowling short. And so then as the game progresses, you start to get the middle order in, and it evolves. So there's a rhythm of play. It's a certain way you bowl before lunch, after lunch, before tea, after tea. Then you got to bowl as a pack. So if you see Mike is bowling to a batsman, and he doesn't want to be on strike to Mike, I'll deliberately bowl one either wide or give away a single. So that he gets back on the strike. Yeah.
So to keep him on strike for me. So Lenny's working for me to keep building the pressure up because he knows I've nearly got this guy.
You work in tandem.
That's right.
And that's with, like, for instance, with Tomo, they all wanted to get away from Tomo.
That's right.
Come down my end, you're going to get the same.
That's right. Yeah. And that was a big mistake they made.
And then when I played with Lillee, and I love bowling with Lillee because he was a master technician, especially in these latter stages. But in the latter stage of his career, he had to be put more into taking care of, not in a cotton wool, but so I did a lot more of the hack work. The hack work. Yeah. And those years
but you were strong,
Series.
Len. You were a strong boy.
Well,
big, strong lad, mate.
That's what I was picked for.
Yeah.
I didn't have the talent of these other guys.
All day he'd run in, all day. Unquestioned, all day.